Binco's convenience store is an odd, tricky place, and somewhere I wish I had a guide for the first time I went. Well, fear not, guys. I will provide. This is my guide to Binco's. All characters, items, and places. So if you're planning a trip to Binco's, this will help you get through it. And if you're not, there's some cool information here about some interesting characters. You can thank me later. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to go through the various stages of the store. The outside, the inside, and then the fabled manager's office. We're going to talk about everything and everybody you might encounter in between there. And this will be using all of my personal experiences at Binco's, including some anecdotes and some little tidbits for you. On top of that, we've got an objective. We're going to break into the manager's office, and I'll show you how. And as for the categorization of everything, all the people and things we talk about fit into one of three categories. Placid is peaceful. These guys just want to mind their own business and maybe even be your friend. Indifferent is neutral. They're chill. They're chillin'. If you provoke them though, you may get a bad reaction. But you can win them over with some silver-tongued words or a nice gift. Malicious, these guys are hostile. Malicious means they have bad intentions and they will hurt you. Be careful. Alright, now the first area I want to talk about is the parking lot / outside of Binco's. You wouldn't think it, but this place is just about as important as the inside. So we're going to go over everything you can encounter outside of Binco's. This is the wet rat. The wet rat is a small, chubby rat with a gun. A water gun, don't worry. Despite his mostly harmless methods, he's still classified as a malicious class. He wants your money, or your cheese. Regular handguns are far too heavy for them to use. For now. Who knows what happens when they start working out. These little guys are oddly malicious, but can't do much to you, honestly. But if you're wearing a nice t-shirt you don't want to get wet, then you want to avoid them. If you can't avoid them and you get forced into a confrontation with a wet rat, the best thing to do is to offer them some peace cheese. If you don't have any peace cheese, carry some. Upon receiving a piece of peace cheese, these little guys will usually leave you alone and go harass somebody else. Something else you're likely to encounter in the parking lot / outside the store is the odd dog. The odd dog usually parks itself near the entrance and begs for scraps. The odd dog is infamous for its giant, rosy cheeks and its oddly human expressions. There's been rumors that the odd dog knows a few words. Nothing has been confirmed and I've never seen it myself, but looking at it, I wouldn't be surprised. The odd dog is the definition of indifferent class. It won't mess with you if you don't mess with it. Give it some food, and you might make a friend. Maybe stay back. I can never tell if it knows what I'm thinking or not. You might also have a run-in with Pained Chip. He's a sentient bag of chips with his top opened up, and he's in great pain. His expression is excruciating, and his screams are even worse. I mean, let's be honest, we'd probably all feel pretty bad if our insides were coming out of the tops of our heads. You gotta watch out for this guy. As a malicious class, he's taking his rage out on everybody else. Unless you brought eye protection, you might get chip dust in your eyes. And that stuff hurts. It's gonna sting. If assaulted by a pained chip, tell him it's gonna be okay, and that everything's gonna be alright, and give him a hug. This may calm him down, and then, when you're close, you can steal a chip. Commonly seen loitering outside the store, the Mullet Kid is a pretty okay dude, just wanting to mind his own business and do tech deck tricks. He's the definition of a placid class. Be aware though, nice as he may be, that mullet is greasy for a reason. This guy does not believe in showering. There's a pretty repulsive aura surrounding him at pretty much all the time. I like to avoid, but if you like smelly people, go make friends. Now here's the area's big cheese, the chemical wizard. This guy runs the outside of Binco's. This guy's got lots of syringes, and they're all full of weird, mysterious brown liquids. The chemical wizard wants everybody to have a taste of his product, whether you like it or not. He's got 2 goons with him, the Needlers. As a whole, these guys are a threat that can't be beat with words. You can't make him go away or pay him to leave you alone. This nut job is motivated entirely by ideals. He wants everybody to feel as good as he does, unless you use the magic phrase. What magic phrase? I'll tell you. You have to say, just say no. And I'm not telling you to just say no. I'm saying you have to say the phrase, just say no. It's a magic combination of words that is held in runes. This will usually teleport him to a different convenience store, letting you shop peacefully. If you forget the magic phrase, you could just wait a few minutes until he passes out. He's known to do that. Alright, at this point, we've gotten inside. We're past the chemical wizard. We haven't gotten mugged, hopefully. Might be down some pocket cheese, that's okay. Maybe you made a friend with the odd dog. Maybe he's following you around. Anyway, if you've made it this far, you're in. Welcome to the wide world of Bincos. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do now that we're inside is pick up a Slushee Cup. This will be useful later, so just hang on to it. Immediately upon entering, we can typically encounter the kind store employee. They like fidgeting with stuff and kind of standing around. Now, they're probably going to open a line of dialogue with you, such as, "Hello, sir, are we having a good day?" Now, I know this is intimidating, but don't panic. Here are a few things you can say. If you'd like to make friends with him, you can say, "It's going good. How about you?" And continue the conversation from there. If you'd like to brush him off, just say, "I'm okay," and walk on. He'll usually smile and nod, and that'll be it. But if you're looking to start a fight, bring up your distaste of the Binco's signature bratwurst burgers. Those will send him into an uncontrollable rage, of which your only escape is violence. And this guy's pretty large, so we're gonna chalk it up to you losing. Something else you'll see strolling around is the Mullet Kid, flame variant. This Mullet Kid's a bad boy. He's got the Guy Fieri flame shirt thing going on. A bit of a goatee and definitely a worse attitude. This guy's a bit of a fire starter. He likes to start fires and burn things. Typically he won't do it inside of the store, so you should be safe, but if you see him with a lighter and some kerosene, get out. Although there's a decent chance to pacify if you just play some Linkin Park or Limp Bizkit from your phone. The Energy Rat is another rat from the Rat Kingdom. Despite the grumpy and tired looks, he's not much of a threat. He just wants to sip on his energy drink and stare off into space. He can feel his heart bouncing against his ribcage. His teeth chatter every time it pumps. He can't stop drinking the energy drinks though. They power him. Without them, he's nothing. Punkin is a sweetheart who just wants to make friends. He's always in a good mood. He's got a can-do attitude. He's a real winner. He's got no arms or legs though, and he is useless to society as a whole. He will be decomposed by November. Cool Ranch Pained Chip is one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. He doesn't give a damn, and that becomes pretty obvious the more you get to know him. He'll forget your birthday. You can't stay mad at him though, because he's just so rad. But under this facade of coolness, there lies a deep yearning to return to the dirt. Green Jack is one of the Scamps, a traveling mischief gang known for taking things like cold milk and turning it warm with their legs, or painting ducks in the park blue. These sickos will do anything for a laugh. You'll encounter Green Jack at the milk freezers, and he'll likely make a rude comment about your shoes. You can defeat him by being rude back to him about his life choices. The Rat King. The Rat King may be slightly imposing to encounter at first. After all, he is the king of all the rats. The problem with the Rat King is he thinks he owns the Bincos. In fact, he claims he annexed it into his territory back in 1992. He even has papers to prove it. The papers he has to prove it with are receipts that he found on the ground. But don't tell him that, he can't read. The Rat King doesn't seem to do much kingly stuff. He's not commanding around peasants or building things or doing much of anything, to be honest. He likes standing around and looking important. So maybe bow your head a little bit towards him and acknowledge his presence. That'll probably keep him content to leave you alone. That is, unless it's tariff collecting season. Then you better have some more cheese in your pocket. The Elated Employee is one of the employees at the counter, and they're a little too happy. I suspect that they may be on something, but there's no hard evidence for that. They may just really enjoy their job at Binco's, although that is unlikely. As the definition of a placid class, they're happy to see you. Maybe too happy. It gets a little creepy. Spicy painted chip is pretty much what the name implies. It's painted chip with a nice, spicy flair to it. It has the ability to cry, and it does so constantly, as it's always in horrible agony. Sometimes its tears will pool up and make the floor slippery, so watch out, you may take a tumble. You won't find the pale facade very often, usually when there's a thunderstorm or the lights are flickering. You can see him for a brief moment in those shadows in between the lights coming on and off. Wearing a mask with an almost indistinguishable emotion, the pale facade prefers to watch. He doesn't like to interact. The low humming frequency that accompanies his arrival has been known to disrupt cameras and audio recorders, so it's a common game amongst people in the area to try and take a video of him before he disappears again. So far, nobody's gotten it, but, there's always next time. He typically only shows himself to the 3 closest people in the room, so if you're trying to see him, you gotta get lucky. Putercat is an adorable little guy. He typically spends his time in the fabled manager's office, watching the security camera footage. But if you catch the little guy out and about, go give him a pet. Provided your search history is clean, he knows these things. Alright, and the big cheese of the main part of the store is Disspencer, a cruel and vindictive slushy machine. Disspencer loves to fill your cup up, but not to the top. He stops midway through the clear containing top. He's a zealot, too. You can't bribe him, can't convince him, he's never gonna change. Trust me, I've tried. But this is where that Slushee Cup comes in handy now. Get him to fill it up midway through the clear top. Even though it could be all the way, he'll do it midway, get it filled up, and now you have the item midway through clear top filled slushie. So, if you want to stop here, this is where you exit. You have a cool slushie, you've experienced some good times, you've met some cool people, and you can go back home. But if you seek a greater prize, if you want to truly explore the Bincos, we're going to go over how to get into the manager's office. Now let's use this and go back to the kind store employee. Typically, if you trade him a slushie, he'll give you access to the Ferb key for at least 5 minutes. Now what you got to do is ignore how creepy the Ferb key is and go up to the manager's office. Upon entering, you're going to come face to face with the manager, known in human tongues as the Wandering Eye. There's nothing we can really say about the Wandering Eye that can't be better expressed by screaming, so we're going to move on to how you'll actually deal with the Wandering Eye. This uses an ancient anti-demon trick. Simply say, "Whoa, what's that over there?" and look behind your shoulder. If done properly, it'll look, and then you can retort with, "Made you look." Upon receiving a "made you look," the Wandering Eye will slumber for 30 seconds. To rinse itself of its shame. If you quickly open its nearest desk drawer and pull out what's inside, you can get away in time. If you're able to get out of there alive, you can pocket yourself a new Mr. Lips figure. Wow, just look at him. Mr. Lips is a very valuable toy that came out around the same time as the original Transformers toys. For some reason, Mr. Lips never really took off, so this little guy is worth a lot of money. So that's the breakdown on Bincos. All the characters, items, and things you're going to need to know. If I missed anything or you have any suggestions or ideas for a next breakdown, leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.